stopped by the police, there are only 4 things you should ever say, and that's it. Here's the twist. Like everything in the law, there are exceptions. There's at least 4 of them, and the last one is going to absolutely blow your mind, so let's jump right in. First up, let's cover the 4 magic phrases that keep you safe and keep you smart. Number 1, am I free to leave? This is your polite way of asking, am I being detained or not? If they say yes, you stay. If they say no, walk away. Again, if they say no, don't ask questions. Don't be like, hey, what's going on? Just walk away. That's so challenging for so many people. But again, if they say you're free to leave, yes, go away. If they try to hem and haw, don't want to answer, keep repeating it. It puts them on the clock legally. It lets them know that you want to leave, and body cams and whatnot, it's going to make it hard for them to say, oh no, they were totally okay to leave. The officer won't answer your question. So, am I free to leave? Number 2, if they say no, you're not free to leave, well, here's the next thing you say. I plead the 5th. The 5th Amendment protects you from saying something that can be used against you. And trust me, anything you say will be used against you. Then you say, I want a lawyer. This shuts it down. Once you say this, questioning is supposed to stop. Don't waffle, don't negotiate, just ask for your lawyer. And then you say, I do not consent to a search. Officers love it when people volunteer their rights. Don't do it. If they had enough to search you, they wouldn't be asking. And you might be saying, hey, Mark, I have nothing to hide, Mark. Let's not. No, stop. If you're in your car, do you have any idea every single thing somebody brought into that vehicle? No, you don't. Did they leave a little bit of marijuana in the back seat? Did they leave a prescription pill wedged between the seats? Don't volunteer your car to be searched. Don't consent to your vehicle being searched. You fight the search of your vehicle every single time because you don't know every single thing in there. Did somebody borrow it? That's what you do. So those are the 4 magic phrases that keep you safe. And likely, if people follow them, I might have to get another job. Those are the 4 things. You want to memorize them, keep them in your pocket, whatever. But let's talk about the curveballs, the exceptions. Exception number 1, the firearm disclosure. In some states, if you're carrying a firearm, you have to tell the officer, period. Some states say if the officer asks you, then you have to tell the officer about the firearm. Then there are some states, like good old Indiana, where I'm at, you don't have to do anything. We have what's called constitutional carry, and there's no business of telling officers, hey, I have a firearm, I'm licensed though. We don't have to do that. If you don't have to volunteer, I would not volunteer. Because the second you do, you give the officer a reason to escalate. His attitude, what he does, and he can claim officer safety, and most states are going to say officer safety is paramount. They don't care too much about your safety. Officer safety, well, we got to watch out for these officers. So here's what you do. You need to research your state's laws. You cannot just depend on this video. You need to talk to an attorney, or at the very minimum, research your state laws about what you have to do if you're carrying a firearm in a vehicle. Do you have mandatory disclosure? Do you have disclosure only if asked? Or you don't have to do anything. You want to educate yourself. You don't want to put yourself in some sort of weird situation where a ticket for speeding turns into a criminal charge, or you lose your right to carry a firearm legally. Don't put yourself in those situations. Learn your laws. Exception number 2, license and registration. Look, a lot of folks like to argue with me about, oh, Mark, I have a constitutional right to travel. You can't make me get a driver's license. Stop right there. United States Supreme Court has said states can require a driver's license to drive or operate in their state. So people are arguing, well, Mark, only for commercial travel. Just stop. The cases that people throw at me, Murdoch, Shuttleworth, Follett, those cases deal with licenses to sell religious trinkets and First Amendment rights, nothing to do with traveling to and from other states. The right to travel covers 3 things. Number 1, you're allowed to travel between states. They can't make it too burdensome to travel between states. Number 2, if you move to a new state, the new state has to treat you substantially as someone that's always been there. And there's even exceptions for that. Think about in-state college tuition. And the 3rd state is you have the right to leave and come back to the country. That's what the right to travel is, and it's awesome. But it has nothing to do with driving your vehicle down the road. So, in the United States, almost every single state has a law that if you're pulled over while driving a car, you have to give your identification to the officer. Or, like in Indiana, the very minimum name, address, date of birth. If you don't do that, many states, including Indiana, that's refusal to identify. That's a separate crime. So again, by not giving identification, you've turned this speeding ticket or whatever ticket into an actual crime. They can arrest you, put you in jail, make you bond out, and go before a judge. Don't do that. If the officer asks, provide your license and registration. There. And some people argue with me on that. Mark, I don't got to give it to him. I got to display it. Whatever. Check your state's laws on that. But inevitably, there's going to be a law saying if you drive a car, you have a license, and if officer asks, you have to give them that information. Number 3, implied consent. Now, the second you get a driver's license, you've agreed by law to chemical testing if you're suspected of drunk driving. If you refuse a blood or breath test, then bam, you're going to have license issues. Most states, including Indiana, a refusal is going to be a year suspension, and that's independent of the DUI. Now, here's the hard part. Blood tests have more steps the officer has to take, and inevitably, a blood test makes it easier for attorneys like myself to fight a DUI. Breath tests are harder to fight than a blood test, but not impossible. So professionally, I like seeing blood, and blood usually accompanies refusals. But I also understand that most of my DUI clients, they want to drive, and not driving is going to be a terrible burden on themselves and their family. So you need to educate yourself on your state's rights and responsibility regarding the implied consent and the consequences of not taking the chemical test. In Indiana, the counties where I practice, it's usually not worth it to refuse a chemical test. And we tell people where I practice, Central Indiana, you're going to want to take that breath or blood test. Otherwise, it's going to create serious consequences for driver's license. So educate yourself on your state's laws regarding license suspensions for the implied consent. Exception number 4, asserting your right to remain silent. Now, here's the wild one. Silence isn't enough. If an officer is asking questions and you just sit there, that silence can be used against you. No joke. The Supreme Court has said so in Salinas v. Texas. You have to say it out loud. You have to say out loud that you want to remain silent. It's so stupid. But if you don't, the silence can look like guilt later in court. It's insane, but it's the law. And if you're following along, the 4 things you say to the cop, if once he says you're not free to leave, you say, I plead the 5th, that will cover you. So there you go. The 4 things to say and the 4 exceptions that you've got to know. Do not overthink this. Don't try to talk your way out with the police. Stick to the script, know the exceptions, and protect yourself. If you watch this far, you must like something about me. Maybe it's a little something. Leave me a comment. Hey, Mark, you're good people. Or if you truly watch this far and you don't like me, leave me a comment. Hey, Mark, worst YouTube channel ever. I don't care. I love comments. I like nice comments, though, more than I like mean comments. But leave me a comment, like and subscribe to my channel. Every week we try to do a Know Your Rights video. If you leave me a comment too, I'm going to try to respond. I read every comment. I try to respond to most comments, but I can't promise you to do that because, I've got a lot of things going on. I'm running a law firm here. Most importantly, remember to always plead the 5th.